Welcome to the ILM Realtor podcast. I am your host, Tabetha, or Tabi Klein, a realtor here in Wilmington, North Carolina, who believes in educating buyers and sellers, honesty, and protecting you through one of the biggest financial decisions of your life. Buying a home is a huge life moment. It's big change, it's big emotions, and sometimes it's the fresh start you've been waiting for. This show is here to make real estate feel a whole lot less intimidating. Honest answers, clear education, and real guidance from local professionals without the pressure, without the jargon, and without making you feel silly for asking. This is very no dumb question style. But today's episode is a little special because it's the first one. Yay! And hi, welcome. So I guess we'll jump in and talk about who I am and how I got here and what this show is really about. I'm going to introduce you to one of my favorite humans in the whole world here in a bit. They've been beside me through every real estate adventure over the past 15 years, so I will rope them in a little bit later in the episode. So let's talk about how I got to launching the ILM Realtor podcast. So I grew up in constant renovation, and I really truly mean that. Homes were not a place that we just lived. They were always becoming something. And honestly, the first place that really started to shape me would be our family cabin. It was built by my dad and my grandpa in the 70s as a simple A-frame hunting cabin. And then our family kind of took over throughout the years, and we just started adding on and finishing different bits. So grandkids' rooms, finishing the kitchen and the bathrooms. And then we ended up adding this giant epic wraparound deck, which is burned into the memories of every single child who has ever been there because you ride your bike around it like 100 times until you feel sick. So the cabin ended up just basically becoming our safe space. And it really made me realize that a house can make you feel a certain way, it can make you slow down, reflect. It's home, which is a feeling, not necessarily a place. So fast forward a little bit, my mom got married to my stepdad, Frank, and we moved into this unbelievable 200-year-old stone house in Loudoun County that was just full of character. And Frank was in the middle of adding on this giant log cabin addition to it. But when we moved in, we were moving into an ongoing project. So it felt like as soon as that project finished, which took years, they decided we should do another one. And we picked up and moved to Culpeper, Virginia, and found this house. If you look it up, it's called Rixeyville Manor. You should absolutely look it up. It's now a wedding venue. But when we moved in, it was rough, like rough. People hadn't lived there in 50 plus years. The ceilings were crumbling. The floors needed to be redone. But my mom and my stepdad, they saw potential, and the whole family at that point was tapped in to help. So we poured ourselves into this house, and it truly was stunning. Like, everybody knew the house that we lived in. You could see it from the little convenience store. It was adorable. But a couple years later, my stepdad passed away, and the energy around the house just shifted. And we realized we could not keep up with a place that size that needed that much work continuously. It really did just become impossible. And now I don't share that out of sympathy. It's just the house, our family, it just didn't make sense for us anymore. So we did sell the house, and it was right around the time I went to college. Big picture, I think that after that, picking up and moving, making a house or home each time, that's why I'm so passionate about finding people the right house to make their home for whatever stage of life fits them and serves them. Because I know what a home can hold and what a home can be. And they're not just transactions. They're chapters of our life, their grief, their hope, their fresh start. And sometimes they're those things all at once. So speaking of a fresh start, today my special guest is indeed someone very special. My very best friend and husband, Jon Klein.
Hello.
All right. So Jon, I need you to be super honest. Did you think I was crazy from the very beginning?
Duh.
Okay. So Jon and I have done all of our real estate stuff together since we've been married. Jon has never been out of the picture. We've both been in each decision together deeply. So, but we've each owned our own house before we got married.
Yes.
So we both came into the marriage with real estate.
Which was sweet.
It was sweet. We ended up selling my townhouse, selling your first home, and then our first big project together
was building
a house. Yeah. So we bought a lot and we bought a house in a lakefront community. You completely redid everything.
I did. I took the plan that the builder had And I had this vision in my head based off of like a model that we had looked at.
Mm.
After we looked at that model and talked to those people, we decided that we thought it was not a great fit for us because they were kind of nickel and diming you, right? It was one of the big track builders in the area.
It was like $1,500 just to request a change,
Yeah, yeah, just for them to look at it.
just for them to think about it.
This came up because the tub in the
Yeah.
master in that
I forgot
plan,
about-
it was actually facing like into the bathroom, and it was neat. It was like in the corner. There was windows. It
Yeah,
wasn't a corner tub. It was like a regular linear tub, but the stupid drain and stuff was on the other side. So you'd be like sitting there facing the shower instead of like looking outside.
Yeah, I was like, hey, can we flip around the drain so I can look out the window while I take a bath? And they were like, that'll be $1,500 just for us to tell you yes or no.
Yeah.
So it was that kind of stuff. So we built our first house. We were there for how long? 5 years?
I don't even know anymore.
I think it was 5 years. And in that time, we finished the basement and did a huge landscape job in the backyard. Boulders and playhouses and patios and a shed. It was intense.
Yeah, it had like a crazy drop off in the back.
Yeah, because
So
it was
to
like
put
we
it-
were on top of a hill. Very similar to my childhood story where it's like, oh, look, we finished. We decided to move. And I think this is the craziest thing that we've ever done.
It was.
John needed out.
Yeah, we needed it out and away from humans. I'd always wanted some land.
That's true.
I had always done like four-wheelers and stuff like that. So I had in my head, I wanted to be on some property. My builder called me one day, the guy who had built our house. He knew this.
Yeah, we made friends with him
Yeah.
because of all of the questions like, hey, can I flip this tub around? Hey, can we redesign the whole upstairs? We became friendly.
So he called me up one day and was like, hey, I think I found a place that actually might be kind of what you're looking for, because he knew we were into like renovations and building and like designing stuff. And so it turns out like I ended up running up there because it was on my way from work, and so I'm on my way home from work and I'm like, oh, geez, this is like kind of close to my best friend's house, actually our best friend's. So I'm like driving, following the GPS, and I make this right turn. I'm like, holy crap.
This is the street of our best
That's
friends.
their house. Okay, neat. And then like it takes me the second driveway after their house left. I'm like, you've got to be kidding me.
So the property lines touched, and it was a 1970s brick rancher, green carpet, dark cherry cabinets. That the whole kitchen was huge, but super dark. And if you're listening right now, I'm going to be posting pictures of like some of this before and after. So don't forget to like, follow, do all of those things. But we decided to buy this house because we are crazy people and lived in the basement, the walkout basement, while we literally ripped the roof off of this thing.
Yeah,
Like,
it was sweet. We walked upstairs and it was open rafters in the attic. And both of us are like, oh.
you know those moments when you smell something and it like creates a memory? That smell when we walked up into that attic was the smell of my grandmother's attic that I used to play in all the time. And I was like, I don't know why, but I think I need this house. And then we ripped it all apart. But I mean, we redesigned the entire first floor, ripped off the roof and put 3 bedrooms and a playroom, 2 bathrooms upstairs, turned the master bedroom into a bathroom, the living room into our master bedroom, the 2 downstairs bedrooms into a living room. It was insane. And then we did all of that. And then COVID hit and we were stuck on the side of a mountain with our best friends. And by stuck, I mean, we had far too much fun. And the recycle company, I'm pretty sure, judged us. But
Like everybody was drunk over COVID. It's fine.
that's true. So long story short, I ended up getting sick over COVID, not with COVID. And we had a very serious, like, life is short moment. Like, it really smacked us across the face, which is why we decided to start looking at living closer to the water. And I don't like the cold, and I don't particularly like the mountains, and I don't particularly like to be away from human beings.
No, but we had a boat and we got married.
We did have a boat.
I did. And we had to sell it because we had a child.
That's
And,
true.
you
We
know,
had a baby. And I said babies can't go on boats.
Yeah, infants on boats kind of sucks. So we got rid of it because, it didn't make sense to keep it. But I was jonesing for another one at the time. And so,
And we lived an hour and a half from the water.
yeah, that was the hard part.
And we'd have to trailer. So it just didn't make sense.
No, I wanted to get back out on the water. I love it. I grew up with it. But anyways, that's what kind of got us thinking about moving closer to the water. So we started looking locally, and then we decided it was either too expensive or kind of too crappy, honestly.
Yeah. Because Maryland was expensive.
Yeah, the only nice places in Maryland that we were interested in moving to were just too expensive close to the water. That's just how it seems.
And
to
the
be.
taxes were super high and the school districts weren't great. Like, it just
Yeah.
It
Wasn't
wasn't the right choice. So we started looking all the way down into Florida and
Yeah, we checked out a few
South
spots in
Carolina,
Florida.
North Carolina. And then we ended up landing on Wilmington because John had family that lived here. I ended up having family that lived here, and we could still be home in case of emergencies in 6 hours.
Yeah, it's a drive. It's not like I gotta wait for a flight or any of that kind of
Yeah,
nonsense or
we could
drive
be back.
15 hours. Like, that was one of the things that kept us from going to Florida was, just the travel time
And
to get back.
hurricanes,
Well,
So we end up landing on Wilmington, and we were really struggling with areas because Wilmington is very different depending on where you're at. Downtown is very different than Wrightsville Beach, which is different than Carolina Beach, which is very different than Leland. So we spent 4 or 5 days and we got an Airbnb in Wrightsville Beach, and we just drove around to every little section and kind of got a feel for every area. And we fell in love with 2 different sections. And we were it was the middle of COVID still. So it was that huge housing crisis where everything was going for too much and nothing was staying on the market for more than like 48 hours.
one of the things that got us down here and doing that was we were like looking at houses, and we had done a little trip ourselves before, maybe a year before. And, we kind of got addicted to Zillow. We're like scrolling stuff, and we're like, I'm watching all of these houses just disappear. It's like,
Yeah,
ooh, I
that
really
was
like this
great.
one. And then immediately gone.
So we found this house and we call our real estate agent, and she's like, that's actually in my neighborhood. I can walk by it and like video you through it today. We did that. We put in an offer and we didn't get it.
Yeah, it was sad.
We were one of like 14 offers. And when we asked, we were like, so what happened? They were like, well, you were like the second lowest offer. And we offered like
solid
15,000 over asking.
Yeah, I was gonna say it was a solid like 20% over, right?
Yeah, it was a lot. So we were super devastated. Nothing else was coming on the market that we liked. And then we get a call from our real estate agent, and she's like, it fell through. They're going to put it back on the market on Thursday. And it was like a Tuesday. And I was like, how do we nail this? And so we ended up offering more than our last offer if they didn't put it back on the market, and like an extra couple $1,000s if they said yes right away, and they wouldn't have to show it again.
Which we knew was a big deal, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know if any of you like who have sold a house, showings are like the worst, right? You got to keep it super clean, especially if you've got kids. It's terrible, like trying to keep up with the house and make sure that, oh gosh, we got a showing that we got to leave. Let's pack everybody up. Let's get the dogs, get the cats moved somewhere, etc. And we knew that, we had a leg up because we'd already seen it.
We'd already seen it. We'd already walked through it. We knew that we loved it.
Yep.
It was a done deal. And they got to keep the old people's due diligence, which if you don't know what due diligence is, we will definitely dig into that in another episode as well. But it is a key factor in putting in offers for houses. So we get this house. We move down here. Our best friends are so mad, so mad. They're like, how dare you leave us? Funny story. We got them down here like 4 years later. So now they live down the street. But what have we done to this house?
Oh, gosh. Well, I mean, that's a great question. Like, it didn't need anything.
It didn't. It was absolutely moving right.
That was one of the things that we really liked about it. It had a huge attic, a bunch of stuff like that. So like, there's a lot of
walk-in attic, which is a big thing in Wilmington.
Yeah, it can be. I mean, it depends on the house, but we did find like a lot of the houses that were built, pre, let's say 2020, really do have like a lot of walk-in attic space and stuff like that because there's no basements here. So that was a perk. But we did know that eventually we would want to do the kitchen.
I'm a big kitchen person. I cook all the time.
Yeah. She actually has she's got a food blog too. It's pretty sweet. But anyways, so yeah, we knew we wanted to do the kitchen at some points. That was the first thing that we decided to do. It was an eating kitchen.
I'm going to post pictures of this as well. If people want to see what we did, I have before and afters that I'm going to attach.
Yeah. It was pretty cool. So we did the kitchen, extended the whole kitchen into the eat-in area, did a big long like eat at island.
Massive island.
Which was super cool. We really liked that a lot. And then we were looking at the backyard and we really wanted to do some stuff, kind of around the house. We started thinking about landscaping and like trying to make it look a little bit nicer, both in the front and the back. And then somebody decided that they really liked to swim.
It was me. So I love the water. So John loves boating. He loves being one with the sea. And I love perfectly pristine, clear water. So I need to be in like the Caribbean or a pool. And to be fair, the water in Wilmington at the beach is actually really pretty.
It is.
It is not bad.
Super clear,
super clear, super blue, super warm for way longer than anywhere else we've been. But I just love the pool. And then we got 2 golden retrievers and, they need to swim and they couldn't go to the community pool. So, I justified this all day. But we didn't just put in a pool. We put in a pool, a patio, a pergola, a shed, an outdoor shower.
You tried to get me to skip the shed, but I was like, no, it's not going to get in here again.
That's true.
Later on.
And we didn't do like a little outdoor shower. Like it is this beautiful.
Yeah, I actually designed it with my dad.
You did.
So I had like this idea of, encapsulating like where the trash cans are and the AC units and stuff.
It's so pretty.
And then I figured out how to integrate it with the fence. It turned out really nice. We did like this cool like sliding door on the fence, which I'll never do again because I built it myself.
You learn.
But yeah, you live and learn, and that's cool. But yeah, it turned out really nice. And so like now at the end of our driveway, we've got like this nice fence. And we're training some vines up it.
Yeah, some Carolina jasmine's going to go up, and it's going to be this beautiful, like very secret garden vibes.
Yeah.
We have a few palm trees that we want to put back there. We did like a full landscape plan that we still need to execute on. So, there's always something. And we won't move when it's all done.
Sure.
Okay, so we moved here. We've created our happy space. Are you happy?
Yes.
You happy here?
Mm-hmm.
You want to live on the water still, don't you?
I do.
Well, Jon, thank you for coming on the ILM Realtor podcast.
Yeah.
And moving me to Wilmington.
Wilmington's pretty sweet. Yeah, you should come down. Just saying. I think the biggest thing for us in terms of, just figuring out where you want to be is it all comes down to feel, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think that was something that, was a hard one to do remotely. We have some ideas of maybe some ways to help you all out with some of that. But yeah, at the end of the day, I think it's about feel. You got to go somewhere and feel it out, see what the different neighborhoods feel like, that type of thing. But
because when we went to Florida, it didn't feel like home.
No.
There was a feeling missing. But when we were in Wilmington, it still felt like home.
Yeah, I think it's because there's more deciduous trees and stuff. And then like
definitely going and traveling to the places that you're seriously looking at.
Yeah,
make sure it feels. Because again,
and driving around, because you never know. You never know what
100%.
like a town's going to look like. You're looking at a neighborhood online or you're on Zillow.
Yeah, like when you're on Zillow and the house is perfect and then you look at the street view and it's like all this crazy nonsense on each side and you're like, oh, maybe not.
Yeah.
Maybe this isn't what I wanted. But I think finding a house is great, but then like making it home, that is like an activity that you do, like unpacking, making it cozy, starting your traditions all over again. That's home. A house is a house. It's 4 walls and a roof, right? Like home is important. And we have made home in every house that we have been in. But this is my favorite.
Good. Me too.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Jon Klein.
You're welcome.
I love you. So like I mentioned, we got our best friends down here 4 years after we moved down. And in that process is when I really realized that I didn't only love doing this for me. I loved doing it for other people as well. So as far as helping you through the next process, I'm going to be filling you guys full of information. My mission is to help you guys feel more confident about the real estate process, helping you feel in the know. I don't want you to be blindsided by information that somebody decides to tell you out of nowhere and you're like, wait, I didn't know that was a thing. And less overwhelmed. I think moving is super overwhelming to a lot of people. I am a systems and process person. Moving is something that I have planned out in my head 6 months in advance. There's spreadsheets and color-coded boxes. I actually started thinking about using QR codes recently for my grandmother's move. But anyway, I digress. I want you guys to feel confident in your next move, in your next choice, in your next home. As far as what you can expect coming next from different people coming on the podcast, Jon was our first guest. But we are going to be having a mix of people from different industries across Wilmington. And this will apply to most coastal Carolina neighborhoods, but specific to Wilmington, as well as inland for North Carolina in general. But we really want to focus on Wilmington for this community. So market trends, insurance, title companies, everything that goes into a move, especially if you're planning on living on the water or very close to the water, flood insurance, and who you need to talk to if you want to build a dock or update a dock. So all of that stuff is coming in the near future. We will do an episode a week. And so here's my big promise. I will never lie to you, mislead you, or fake it. You get all of me, which is why I brought Jon on the podcast to get started. I wanted you guys to get a real version of me so you can see my silly moments and my aggressively helpfulness and everything else that goes along with it. All that to say, if you're thinking about moving to Wilmington, North Carolina, or you already live here and just want someone to talk to you through the process of selling your home and buying somewhere new, please send me a DM on Instagram at the ILM Realtor or email me at tabethaklein@seacoastrealty.com. We'll talk you through everything that you need to do to take the next steps. Thank you so much for joining the ILM Realtor podcast, and I'll be seeing you around our perfect little city. Have a good one.